Good evening, everybody. Matt Geary here for the Geek Pridecast on this Sunday evening. With me tonight, we've got no guests, but we got more usual faces. They're back. We've got my co-hosts, Peter Allison.
Good evening, everyone.
Mark Canty.
Hola.
And Jon Jo Cosgrove.
Hello, everybody.
Gentlemen, it's been a while since all four of us have been on here. So what's everybody been up to?
Adulting. Intense adulting.
Adult things.
Adulting.
All right, that's Mark now out of the conversation for the rest of the night.
Easter holiday, so the kids have been off school. But I got bored of watching Picard season 2 because of so many what the fuck moments.
Really? Do you know what, man? Picard. I started watching it. And the first season was just like, oh man, this is really boring me. It's not getting me. But it got really good towards the end, and I'm actually kind of liking the second season. It feels more like a next gen, more sort of maybe a bit more adult next generation thing, because you got time travel, they've got Q, they got the whole thing. Yeah, and it's just
the plot's really nice. The execution of it feels off. I mean, one thing threw me out was Picard swearing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I kind of like the sort of more sort of like I kind of like that this sort of made, because if you think about this, if they went cheesy old school next generation, you would think it was naff. As much as it's good to go back and watch these things, you can kind of accept it because it's like 80s, it's 90s and stuff. But if they did that now, you'd be like, what the hell is this? So it's kind of good that they've made it a bit more gritty.
It's very kind of controlled. And even when he's getting enraged in Star Trek First Contact, the film, he's still at pure rage. He's not swearing. He's just purely projecting that level of fury. He doesn't need to swear, so the hero swear just felt out of character almost.
He's seen so much more since then, hasn't he?
It's Picard swearing, or because it's Stewart?
Yes. The other thing as well was, without going too spoilery, the random musical element in 1 of 2, which what am I watching? It's Picard suddenly became a musical for no reason I could think of, and it just it broke the similitude. It broke the world building.
Yeah. It took me a while. It took me a good, first 4 episodes and stuff of the first season. I was just like, I was kind of had them on in the background and it wasn't really gripping me. And then suddenly it started getting a bit more sort of kind of intense. And I was just like, yeah, I'm kind of enjoying this. Okay. And the second season, it's had me from the very start. I'm actually waiting for the next episode to come on and stuff. And, the fact that, with spoiler alerts, anybody knows, like Borg, the Borg Queen sort of flying around.
That's another thing. The Borg Queen. Okay, you've got a character, Juranti, who is susceptible at the very least, and has been kind of exposed to mind manipulation, mind control. So what does everyone do? Leave the person that has been mind controlled in the past with the one thing you do not want controlling their mind.
I think that was more a desperation thing, wasn't it? They were working with what they had.
No, just tell Juranti, leave Picard. And this is another thing as well. You back in time. Do whatever you do. Do not disrupt the time flow. Do not cause anything to kind of the butterfly effect. What does Rios do? Well, I am a captain from the future, and 300 years in the future, and I command a starship.
And I'm going to cop off with a local doctor.
I mean, I get that there is a need for drama, but there was just no need. And I feel it's almost they're writing it purely for the drama's sake, rather than the need of the story.
Again, if you haven't watched this, spoilers and stuff like that, do you think?
Sorry.
Do you think that Q is he being malevolent, or do you think is he doing is it a trick like all of his other things?
I think it's Q. Just Q being Q.
I think there's a little bit of puzzlement and desperation in there from having been up to date now, which I don't know if Pete is. There is some. There's more to it than usual. We used to Q being playful in his own way, but this time around there is something a little bit more feral about it, a little bit more desperation in there. So it's interesting seeing that as a spin on it. We've seen irresponsible Q with the child with his son in Voyager and things like that. But this time around, it feels like with the issues with his abilities and things like that, that it's almost as though he's trying to do what he did before, but it's being compromised by life getting in the way, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, I'm quite enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm quite enjoying it.
It's been good.
Yeah. Right. So before we move on to anything else, right? So you know this, right? So I put, basically, for anybody who's listening and stuff, right? There's a bunch of guys on TikTok. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I'll stick it on the link whenever I add it to the thing. But basically, they're a bunch of guys, and they're really into their wrestling, and they do this sort of kind of 60-second pop quiz thing where they basically go 60 seconds, name the wrestler, go, and then the guy has to sort of kind of go, is he in WCW, was he in WWF, was he in the 90s, and then they basically try and name this wrestler. Now, I haven't been into wrestling for many years. I used to love it when I was a kid. I was really Bret Hitman Hart was my sort of kind of my wrestler and stuff. I got a cameo from him, which made me cry. But yeah, it was just sort of like, I love that. But the thing is, it's so good to watch. And I just think we should totally do that, but with different sort of franchises, depending on who knows what. And as we've been talking about Star Trek, I think we should maybe do our first one and I think I've got a great character for you to try and guess. So, right, I'm going to do this now. I'm going to get a stopwatch, yeah. And I'm going to, where is it? We'll get the stopwatch.
Oh, God.
Okay,
you
right.
You can have 3 people blasting questions at you.
So
right?
I will be more specific because it's not just like wrestling and stuff. I'll just go. All right, no, because you'll have to name, because you'll have to guess what Star Trek series it is and stuff. So that'll be part of it. So it's Star Trek. It's a character. 60 seconds. Go.
Male or female?
Male.
Okay. Is it original
Next
series?
Generation?
Next Generation, yes.
Human?
Morph.
Human, yes.
Okay. LaForge.
Married?
No.
Married or single?
Single. Very single.
Riker.
No.
Wesley?
No.
Oh, I was about to say Wesley.
Picard.
No. Do you need to sort of maybe get a few more questions to sort
Okay.
of narrow it down?
Is he a member of the Starfleet?
He is a member of Starfleet.
Okay. Lieutenant.
He is. Oh God, what is his rank? I don't think he's a lieutenant. No.
This game's going so well.
I don't think it's a lieutenant. No.
Okay. I'm trying to think about all the characters.
Come on, more
Yeah,
character.
no, I'm working through it
60
at the moment.
seconds got to be up there.
Stop. Okay, so you've got one more guess. Give me a guess. One more guess. You've got one more guess to name the character. I'll give you a clue. I'll give you a clue. He's not a main crew member.
Oh,
He is right now. Right again.
He's
not a main crew. He's not a main crew member, but he is in it a fair bit, and you know him.
Oh, God.
sorry, just scraping my brain a little bit.
My brain's gone.
Oh dear. I'm quite a bit. Not a main crew member, male, single.
Is it the same guy played by?
Is it Thomas Riker?
No, that would have been a good one. It's Reginald Barclay.
Oh,
I can't remember what his rank was, to be honest. What the top of my head, I don't think he was a lieutenant. He was like an ensign or something, wasn't he?
I think he was a lieutenant.
Oh, was he a lieutenant?
Was
he?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, sorry.
I think he made his way up to commander later on in
Oh,
Voyager.
he is lieutenant. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, so but yeah.
I've got one. If I'm happy to have a go at this,
Okay.
if I'm happy to have a go, I don't.
All right. Cool. 1 minute.
I'm going to do a Marvel character.
Okay. So bear through 1 minute, right? So Marvel character, 60 seconds. Go. Okay. So is there a film about them?
They are in the film. Yes.
Is
Male
it
or
human?
female?
Male human.
Okay. Do they have their own film?
Not their own film, no.
Do
Okay.
they have any powers?
No.
Are they okay.
Are they a part of the Avengers?
No.
So male.
Are they part of Shield?
No, not part of Shield.
Are they part of Guardian Galaxy?
No.
Good or bad? Good? Are they
Bad.
good? They're bad.
They're
Oh,
bad.
bad. Okay.
Male, bad. Part of Hydra?
No.
Independent?
Not independent. Yeah.
Kilgore?
Sorry, what was that?
Kilgore?
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 No.
Mercenary?
Oh, no, Kilgore. I said Killmonger.
Killmonger.
Time's up.
Oh,
Thumbs up.
I was gonna say.
Okay,
no,
final
no,
guess.
not-
Final guess.
Go on.
Okay, so we've
So
got...
let's have a quick rundown. So you have human male,
Yeah,
bad guy.
yeah.
In Marvel, obviously. No
Human,
powers.
human, Marvel,
And pretty much independent.
independent.
In particular, in the film, I'm not saying it's his only appearance, but in the film he's very independent.
Is it going to be...
Could I give one action, because I know if I do this, it should give it away.
No, don't give it away, right?
no?
So
All right, okay.
let me ask. Can I ask? Obviously it's not in this. Can I ask one more question? Is he
Yeah, go on.
in the new Black Widow film?
No, he is not.
Are they in the Spider-Man films?
No.
Oh, okay.
Go on, Mark. You have one more question.
Oh, I'm just trying to think of the name at the moment. So he's a villain, human, not affiliated, not that very independent. Is he in Is he in one of the TV series as well as the films?
Yes. I think Mark's got it.
I am just reminding myself what the name is because my brain is getting stuck. Because the answer, I'm guessing you were going to dance.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Where's a purple mask?
Yes.
Can't
Zemo.
remember.
Helmet Zemo. Barry
Yes.
Zemo.
Barry Zemo. Okay.
Barry Zemo, that's it, yeah.
Barry Zemo.
Yes.
There we go. Okay, right.
I
So
was just about to go, yep.
okay,
Yep.
Like that.
The dancing.
Pete, you give us one then. Go on.
Okay. I wasn't expecting this. Sorry. Okay. I don't know why I wasn't expecting this. Because I'm so professional.
Oh, God.
Okay, character from The Expanse.
That makes stuck because I haven't watched it all the way through properly.
That's your loss, isn't it? You should know better.
Okay. Male or female?
Female.
Martian or human?
Human.
In it from the beginning of the series.
Yep.
Still alive at the end of the series.
Pardon?
Still alive at the end of the series?
Surprisingly so.
Ooh.
Just because
Is she a
everyone else
part
died.
of the UN?
Yes.
Oh, what's her name? What's her name? What's her name? I'm gonna have to Google this.
That's cheating.
What's her name?
Joe, I think I know it as well, but
Sarah.
name's gone out my head.
Pardon?
Avasarala.
Correct.
That's it. Oh, okay, yeah.
I think of it. I went completely blank. I just couldn't get it. in my
Oh
mind.
man, I'm really bad with names and stuff like that. Characters and stuff, but like names and stuff, I'd be like,
I only just
characters
did it
with
last
names, how
series
dare
a
they?
couple of weeks ago.
All right, Mark, you can have one as
Okay.
well then.
So I'm going to go DC.
Okay,
Ooh.
Oh,
character
me
from
out.
DC. Okay, so male or female?
Male.
is it Batman?
Pars?
That's me out then.
No powers.
Are they in a live action DC film?
Not in a film, no.
They're in a
Ooh.
series.
Yes.
As in the
Green
arrows-
Arrow. Green Arrow.
Not Green Arrow.
So, sorry, I did miss it. Is it a hero?
Male.
Yes, it's a hero. It's male. They're in a series, not a film.
And
In a
male.
series, not
Sorry,
film.
no
Okay.
powers. No powers.
part of Arrow.
Oh,
The Arrow.
Are they in the
series.
Arrowverse?
They're in the Arrowverse, yes.
Okay.
Black Lightning.
No.
Ah,
No powers.
okay.
No powers.
Oh, sorry, no power. So,
Oh god, my head's gone blank now.
Powers.
Oliver
No
Green.
powers.
No, because he's Green Arrow.
Yeah.
Rick
Yeah,
Hunter.
but he's got. Look, he's not got any powers.
Rick
Well,
Hunter
yeah,
hasn't got
but-
powers.
Okay, final guess.
Green Arrow has no powers, but yeah. So I'll give you each one more question.
Okay.
So starting with Matt.
So we've got. So let me just get this right. So we've got DC, Arrowverse, male, no powers.
Yep.
Is is he in the Arrow series?
Yes.
Ooh.
Do you want to take a guess, or do you want to wait for the others to
I'll
ask
wait for the
questions?
others. I'll get my other questions, and then we'll.
Pete.
Are they in it from the start?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I know who. I think I know who it is there.
Ask your
I
question
Do you want a
first.
question, or do you want to guess?
Okay, all right. I'll ask the question first, just to make sure. Are they still in the Arrowverse now?
Yes.
Okay, what do you
Okay,
got?
Matt. I'm going to let Matt guess first in the same order as the questions.
Oh, okay. Oh God, I can't think now. Everybody's gone blank. Oh, he plays Torchwood.
He plays Torchwood.
Yeah. What's his name? He's the dad of Thea Queen. What's his?
He's not in it. He's not in it at the moment.
Is he not? Oh, so it's not him.
You're
now.
thinking
I know
Malcolm
who you're talking
Merlyn.
about.
Yeah, I was thinking Malcolm Merlyn. That was it. No.
Malcolm Merlyn was in it from the start, but he's been dead after about series 4, wasn't it?
Oh,
He
yeah.
got killed. He's been killed about 3 times.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
so-
because he came back a couple of times with the
Yeah.
address.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking. You see? Okay. Go.
Alright.
Okay.
Go
So
on, Pete.
Pete.
Oliver Green's bodyguard.
Queen, not Green.
Queen. That's said Queen.
Oliver Green.
So what's the name?
Oh,
bodyguard.
no, this is really hurting me.
I
now.
don't know. I don't watch it. It's basically DC 90210.
Oh fuck yeah! I forgot about that. Yeah.
Okay, you haven't got a name. So I'm going to give it to John to try and guess.
Mr. John Diggle.
Diggle.
Well-
That's it.
Oh,
Oh, very good.
You
yeah.
see, I was expecting Jon Jo to ask if he was in more than one series, and that would have been a dead giveaway.
no, it's only
Diggle.
Because he's
Oh.
been in
I'd say-
every single series,
yeah,
including
but,
Superman and Lois.
but a lot of them have been in other series. But as soon,
Yeah, but
as,
he's.
soon as I said, is he still in the show now? That's what sealed it for me.
If you said has he been in all the series, then I could have said yes, because he's even been in Superman and Lois after season 1. In fact, he's the only crossover
Yes.
from the Arrowverse
Yes.
that's been in the series.
Yeah,
Even-
which is
I've-
very surprising.
Well,
Right.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so John Diggle.
Ah, I can't
Yeah.
believe that, man. Yeah, this is like it should have been the first one I thought of, but I just
got
didn't even
one.
think about it and stuff. Oh,
You see, I was expecting someone to guess Harrison Wells. I must admit.
yeah. Oh
Yeah,
god.
but then you said no powers.
But he has
Yeah.
no powers. Harrison Wells has no powers. Remember? The person that
Yeah.
impersonated
But Harrison
Wells
Wells
first time.
died.
Which
was
Harrison
dead
Wells?
before the
Oh
series
yeah,
started.
yeah,
Which
Bob
Harrison
Thong.
Wells? Which Harrison Wells? Remember?
Yeah,
We've
but
had
then
the whole
but then
council
the
of Wells.
alternative Harrison Wells would have came after. They wouldn't have been in the Arrowverse from the beginning. There we go.
A Harrison Wells has been there all the way through. though.
Semantics.
No, he hasn't. You have not had
Yeah.
Harrison Wells since the beginning of the Arrowverse.
Okay, well, I think that works.
Anyway,
I think that works. I think we've got
Oh.
that works quite well.
I mean that's fun.
Yeah,
fun.
I think
You've
that's
got us
what.
flat-footed.
Yeah, I think that's quite useful. I think we can also sort of, if we could stick these on TikTok, and then obviously if we get any comments and stuff, we can go with them and stuff, because that's what they do, and I think it's a good idea. So we're ripping them off completely, but in a
inspired by.
Yeah.
I just can't believe Pete went for bloody Expanse, and I just couldn't get it.
Considering I just watched it recently, I was so annoyed I couldn't remember her name, but I just. Yeah.
I was going to be cruel. I was going to do Babylon 5 because I knew that Pete would totally squeak then.
That's the thing. It's like
cruel to you two.
If it comes to things like Doctor Who and stuff, it just have to be between you and Jon Jo and stuff, because I don't know enough about it and things. It'd just be like, one. All right, do that last one because it gives me one a day then. So like between Jon Jo and Mark, give us a Doctor Who one.
I've got one in mind if you want me to go for it.
You run with it. Yep.
Okay, so Doctor Who, 60 seconds. Go.
So, male or female?
Male.
Human?
Yes.
Present, future, or past?
Oh. I'd say technically now the past, but was originally future.
Okay, so male, moderate.
Unit.
Not from Unit, no.
Okay. From Earth?
Yes.
Any powers?
20 seconds.
No.
New series or old series?
New series. No powers,
Mickey.
but modification.
Mickey?
No, not Mickey. No, not Mickey, no.
Oh, God.
10 seconds.
Modification. Oh, the kid that ran along that had the modification made to his head. I can't remember his name, though. When
Last question.
Era.
Last question, and then you can have a guess.
I can't remember the guy's
name. You can't get his name.
No, my brain's just like...
I'll tell you what, you were pretty much on it. It was Adam. Yes. Who snapped his fingers and his head would open.
He had the head port installed, didn't he? Because he wanted to be able to remember future information.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Right. And that was tricky because he was in.
He only had 2-3 episodes.
Because the episode was in 2005, but technically they found him in 2012. So yes, even though it was then the future, it is now the past. Just to add to all the
timey-wimey stuff.
Timey-wimey.
Stuff, yeah. But funny enough, obviously, last week was the episode of the penultimate Jodie Whittaker Doctor Who episode, which me and Marcus spoke quite a bit about. Chris Chibnall, the current showrunner, and how, let's just say, imagine, if you hit the mark on 9 out of 10 episodes, imagine you do that, but you do it the opposite way, so you only hit 1 out of 10. That is a Chris Chibnall era.
He's like a sprinter who lagged in last place and found all of his wins, including the last one, at like the 90-meter mark on the 100-meter race.
Yeah, it was not. I mean, you know what? Whenever someone takes over a show, they have to do something different. They have to make their own stamp on it. His first series, though, was probably even worse than the infamous Colin Baker. Anything that came out from that side, it was bad. The writing was, I mean, apart from a couple of episodes, there was some highlights.
The thing is, he's like a weird 30-70 mix. About 30% of the calls he made were good. The problem was he didn't necessarily make them in. He didn't necessarily use them very well, or he put them in the wrong places. Or, in terms of the pacing.
I found that it seemed like he wanted to not go too much onto the past. He wanted to go, right, this is Doctor Who, but we're going to do it our way. And then literally, as soon as all the bad backlash came out, first special, Daleks, yeah, we'll bring them back, I guess. Cybermen, yeah, why not? The Master, yeah, let's just bring everything back. Come on, let's say, the Sea Devils. We've not seen the Sea Devils for 40 years. We'll give you them again as well.
I think he got caught between his impulses as a writer and his impulses as a fanboy, and he's just whiplashed a bit between the two. And he's only just started to find a balance, just in time to step off the edge of the plank and hope.
And we spoke about this before as well, because after the next episode, which as much as how many times do you think, oh, I just want to write off Doctor Who now, fair enough, and then they decide to do that reveal in the trailer to go, two of the best ever companions. You got Tegan, you got Ace coming back.
Oh, yeah, Ace coming back. Okay.
Oh yeah, but then I got you to listen to rather than reading the book.
Yes, I've been listening to the audio.
It's actually really good.
Sophie Aldred brought out in 2020 a novel continuing the adventures of Ace, and I'm about halfway through. It's really good, and I even said to Mark, I really hope that there is some carryover from this story into the Doctor Who episode, because they really make her good. They really make her story.
Yeah, if they don't tie that in, then I'm going to find the guy's address and send him something very unpleasant.
even like, because she becomes an entrepreneur, and she even calls her business A Charitable Earth. ACE. It's brilliant.
Exactly.
This means nothing to me. Like I don't think I've watched Doctor Who in a very long time. Every now and again I see a little clip and stuff. I don't think I've seen. I don't even think I've seen a full episode.
Do you remember Ace from the McCoy era? Because she was very young and naive when he found her. She'd got lost. She effectively got dropped through a time portal, and she was very impulsive. And she was only about 18 or 19. And she was quite aggressive in how she dealt with things.
With a baseball bat and explosives.
Nitro 9. Yeah. Or as someone pointed out, the first person to kill a Dalek with a slingshot.
Yes.
Sort of thing. Or was it it was Cyberman, wasn't it? It was Silver.
Yeah.
But the thing is that the new her is much more mature. But there's the elements of the old her in the way they write it in the book, because Sophie Aldred obviously knows the character fairly well. And I hope, based on the little bits that they've shown, they're going to carry that through, because the book is really interesting. It's another take on this idea that they did with Sarah Jane of the companion that's left behind and how they dealt with it when the Doctor comes back, because obviously the Doctor's very different to their Doctor, especially now. You compared Sylvester McCoy to Jodie. There's some bits of that of common element there, but it's interesting seeing the older, wiser Ace who's made certain decisions, but also the way she does certain things compared to the original Ace. And I think it would make a very valuable sort of end point on Chibnall's era if he used that properly.
And do you know what? I think the only thing that's going to be a big shame is, wouldn't it be great if Sophie Aldred was actually able to come back as a companion? I think that would be. Don't get me. I wouldn't say like bring her back for a whole thing. It'd be nice to have like an adventure or two with her and the Doctor. I think that would have been quite a nice little tie up. But I rewatched after that episode last week. I rewatched The Curse of Fenric, which is one of my favourite ever stories of Doctor Who. And just to like, when you see Sylvester McCoy in particular, like he's Doctor at first. When he first became the Doctor, he was just seen as that guy that was wearing a Colin Baker wig. They just went, nah, Colin Baker ain't came back for the film. Pop that up for 10 minutes, and then there you go, I've changed. And he just sort of like, he didn't know where he stood on that. And I think when you got to that last series, when you got this Doctor that's very dark and manipulative, he's able to get people to do things that they shouldn't be doing. He's able to basically, I think this is like a borderline of where he's almost like, if ever there was going to be an alternate casting for the Master, Sylvester McCoy would have been perfect for it. And rewatching Curse of Fenric, it made me realise as well just how good Ace is as a character, and just how much that character does, endure, but still stays with the Doctor. And it was one of them things that when you see a companion literally go through that, and then now you see like what some of these, like I remember watching like some of the old ones from like the fourth, because obviously I was too young for Doctor Who when it was originally being shown, so I didn't see any of that. But when you see how some of these characters went, some of them just, they got dropped off in the wrong place, got dropped off in Aberdeen instead of Croydon, And,
it's close, isn't it?
oh, it's close enough. It's like we see things like that, but then you actually see, like, Ace, I think, was a character that was destined to be, as legendary as Sarah Jane Smith, and it's a shame that we never got that kind of conclusion to a story. So I'm hoping Chris Chibnall, if he does one good thing, if he does one good thing with his tenure, he actually gives her, a great, not necessarily, like, I'm not saying kill her off, definitely don't do that, but give her like a good ending, a good on-screen ending to go, yep, that's that character, Cat. Oh, and yes, we got to get rid of the 13th Doctor as well, but yeah, we'll do that in between.
But do you follow Big Finish as well, or do you keep an eye on Big Finish?
I've seen. Why did I say I've seen? That's all bloody audio. I've heard a lot of Big Finish. So I've seen that there is there's
two
a
new series
Doctor.
Yeah, Fugitive Doctor with Joe Martin is coming out.
Could be good.
But also Call Me Master with Sacha Dhawan. They've signed both of them on for some ongoing series in the way they've done with some of the other past Doctors. And I'm quite tempted by the Fugitive Doctor ones, because I think that's something that Chibnall came very close to getting very right there, was that he managed to write a very different Doctor to one we've seen before. I wasn't so sure about the whole memory loss thing around it, but there was a lot of the good bits of some of the other Doctors and something a bit differently twisted in there. But I also think I don't think he used Sacha Dhawan as well as he could have done. There were some really high points in there, but he had so much energy that could have been used in some good ways, the same as they did with Missy. And so it'll be interesting to see what they make of him as well.
Talking about writing, have you finished your reviews yet, by the way?
Working on it. I've had to go back and reread the book.
It just sort of popped into my head when you were talking about books. I was like, hey, you got it reviewed.
Yeah, no, it's my own fault. I've got too much family stuff going on at the moment.
So that's okay. It's all right. It's all right. I've been writing the same article, a Games Workshop lament, for the last sort of 3 weeks or something, and I keep on sort of
nothing to do with squats then.
No, I'm trying. So we have like I did another little podcast about tabletop gaming and stuff with one of my mates, and I was having a bit of a rant about codex creep and how I think that Games Workshop are very good. They're very good marketers, and they're very good at selling plastic crack. But it's just like the game itself is suffering because all they really care about is selling the model, which is fine because that's what their job. But as the game goes, I've started falling completely out of love with it because it's just like, it just feels like, it's the next codex comes out, it's better. Then the next one comes out, then it's better, and it's next. And, like it's been like that for years. It's just, it feels like it's more prominent now, especially in the competitive scene. And it's frustrating me because it's kind of like it's very annoying.
Have you looked at one-page rules? A couple of the guys in our group have been getting really positive about it. I tried it out for the first time yesterday with a small sort of a 4-way 250-point thing, and basically it's a group that do it on. They release the rules for free. They have a Patreon you can jump into to get access to some of the nicer stuff, to some extra stuff on top of it, including like their Discord and so on. But they're writing compatible sci-fi and fantasy rule sets that are simplified out.
Oh, okay.
And so they don't specifically say Marines or something like that. For example, I took some of my Gene Stealers from my Space Hulk set, and they're Alien Swarm sort of thing. But there's little things like they've simplified out the combat sequence. So if you hit, it goes straight to save, and things like that. And there is a baseline movement profile, and some of them have characteristics that give them a bit more.
Yeah.
So in the case of the Gene Stealers I took along, they get an extra 2 inches on their base move, an extra 4 inches on a charge, so they can move sort of 16 inches on the charge, sort of thing. And it actually worked quite well for what we were doing. We only had I think the biggest group was a guy who stupidly managed to bring the only person there that brought guard. He brought guard, and then there was 2 Tyranid players and the Gene Stealer cult player. And he just sat in his corner of the board and just went,
Yeah. I think it's just my sort of annoyance about it is I've got this really, I've I've grown up with, and it's sort of, I have this in my article, which I'm sort of writing and rewriting and stuff, but it's like, I've grown up with this sort of really nostalgic sort of feeling about them. They've given me a lot of good memories, especially with my father and stuff like that. And it upsets me. Yeah, that was my first. I remember my father coming back with Rogue Trader, and like a box of Space Knights, and I was like, "What are these?" And sort of a thing of paints, and and going to my first trip to Games Workshop in Oxford when I was a kid, and there's a lot of good memories, but it's like I don't have a lot of good memories of playing the game as much as I liked playing the game. It's just like pretty much when I came back to it in 5th edition and stuff, it obviously 5th edition, 6th edition, and very much to the 7th edition, there was very much a lot of bloat, and it was just like there was too many, there was way too many rules. It was getting well too complicated. You spent most of your time just arguing with each other about different rules and if they were compatible with each other. They've sort of dumbed it down, not dumbed it down, they sort of simplified it with 8th, but then started kind of building up, and then 9th, it just seems like they're going
the expansions and the campaign books and everything else, because you see they pushed out the 2 updates where they tell you which books are now relevant and which ones aren't.
Yeah, and it's just
a huge amount of red, and some of those books are only like 8 months old.
Yeah, and it's my annoyance with it is more that I appreciate that the competitive scene is becoming a lot more popular, and there's loads of channels online that sort of kind of go on about how to play competitive play and stuff, and Games Workshop are buying into this, and as much as they're going like new models, new rules, new things, and these guys, because who want to play competitively or at least want to sort of be good at the game, are going out and they're like, getting a new army or changing armies very quickly, whereas like what annoys me is like I've been Space Wolves pretty much forever, and I've dabbled with Custodes. I had a sort of Custodes, Space Wolves, Guard sort of mixed soup army, because it was like my Prospero sort of theme and stuff.
Yeah.
And I appreciate, when you do stuff like that, your army's going to be not great and stuff like that. But I generally just Space Wolves, and they're like, and it's not because they're not overly competitive, which they're not. It's just that every time they sort of bump up a new codex, it makes them worse and worse and worse. And you can't play competitively, even if, I just want there to be a level where you can, even if you have an old codex or something like that, you can still play with a certain amount of units and stuff and think, have a chance of being able to play it.
That was the whole point between them doing the annual books, wasn't it? That was supposed to even stuff out.
Yeah.
And then the sort of like quarterly updates on their website.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to have worked that way, because the problem you have is that every codex that's written comes out of a team that's already been doing the playtesting for the last one and then locked it down. And so every time there's this, we could have done this, but we can do this way now because we've made it work this way. And it is difficult. It's always going to be difficult doing games design and balancing like that. But
it's just they bring out
think they do better than some do, though. I mean, to be adjacent into a different rule system, they still handle it better than, for example, the new X-Wing updates.
Oh, yeah, that's a bit of a clusterfuck, isn't it?
When you transfer the entire system to a different publisher, the publisher then says, actually, we're going to change how everything works. And when someone says it's not very popular, they just say, well, if you don't like it, then fuck off. Pardon my French. That's kind of a really bad custom thing to set. So, yes.
Are X-Wing not Fantasy Flight anymore? Are X-Wing not Fantasy Flight anymore?
No, it's with Atomic Mass.
Oh, fuck.
They transferred all the miniature stuff to Atomic Mass. And Fantasy Flight was, because that was a call from above. Basically, all the miniature gaming stuff is under Atomic Mass, and Fantasy Flight are focusing on
board games,
RPGs and board games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but also they kind of outsourced all their RPGs to freelance or somewhere else, haven't they?
Yeah, I think they manage it partially through Fantasy Flight now.
Right.
But their focus is on board games.
Yeah.
And all the miniature gaming stuff went to Atomic Mass, and they did that in the middle of COVID as well, which not either. But yeah, no, Atomic Mass are really more focused on Legion and Crisis Protocol, and they've changed they've got to a point now where looking at the groups, you're looking at sort of where you used to have gaming groups for X-Wing with like 20 or 30 people regular. They're seeing 6-7 people turning up on a regular basis now.
Yeah, I stopped playing it after this. I was like, I do not want to get up. I've got a lot of X-Wing stuff. I think they're beautiful models and stuff like that. But I've just got first edition, and it's just like I'm never going. There's no point in me saying getting second edition now, third edition. It's just sort of.
Yeah, I didn't mind. It took me a little bit to get into second edition, but it worked. Third edition, they've changed the focus of the game. First, in that they've changed around now, so you have separate allocations for points. So you buy the units, and then whereas before you had certain kinds of cards you could put on them, now you have a limited pool of cards that each one can take, and it's kind of apportioned how many points you can spend. And then instead of it being an adversarial game that it was, but it was mostly sort of like head on, it's become a lot more scenario based.
Oh, okay.
So before you could play straight up, and you had missions which could include like bonus options, especially when you moved into the epic scale.
Yeah.
Now it's very much more scenario focused. So the competitive part, but also the rule mechanics don't seem to be as balanced, because there's some people talking about Adepticon that obviously just happened. The final there took 25 minutes, and everyone agrees that the guy who won basically won in the setup, because there was a hole there he could exploit, which basically meant that for 20 or 30 minutes the guy opposite looked for a way to wiggle out, and then he conceded because there was the positioning and the rules of the scenario was such that he had no way out.
Yeah, I was wondering why Legion had suddenly got, because my friend sent me a link, and there's a load of Legion stuff going for like well cheap and stuff, and there's new upgrades coming out for them as well. And
it's brought out the Shadow Collective with as a faction, and obviously they'd already gone to the prequel era, but there's some rumors around about some bundle deals that are going to be coming out because they're trying to get people in, like. You're talking like 50 to 60.
Oh yeah, man! I saw like you're looking like savings of 100 odd quid and stuff. Some of the bundles. I was tempted to get a load. But the only reason I haven't is just like I don't think I'm ever going to play it, and it's just sort of like there's not
stunning minis. I've got a couple of friends that are getting into it.
Yeah,
absolutely gorgeous minis, especially the characters.
Yeah,
even the line inventory.
I want them to do an Armada version of it. So like there's a website that does it's called I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it basically does smaller scale versions of like 40k and Star Wars Legion and stuff, and they've done like an epic version of Star Wars Legion. I was like, oh man, I would be all over that if they did that officially.
Well, I'm the guy who's still waiting for GW to figure out that they should be doing epic again. So they can sell us their
do you know what?
all over again.
I said this in my podcast yesterday on yesterday and stuff, but it's like that last video that they did about the Horus Heresy. I think they may actually now they brought squats back, which they said they would never do. So they are, effectively. But bear in mind that new Horus Heresy. So they've got all the new plastic kits and stuff coming out. And the Horus Heresy.
That's Spartan. That Land Raider Spartan.
Yeah. And you've got the slightly bigger beakies and stuff, so they're slightly bigger scale. But there's the fact that in that cinematic trailer, they had a lot of stuff about Titans and things like that. There was a lot of Titan stuff and a lot of things where it's like, and it's just like, why would you focus on a Horus Heresy game? Why would you focus on Titans when you're not going to really be able to bring that into a 28mm game unless down the line you're going to bring Aeronautica, Titanicus, and Horus Heresy together and bring back Epic and have Space Marine.
It's how Epic started, wasn't it? Was that it started off Titan battles. Then Space Marine was a companion, and so on and so forth. Yeah, and I've been waiting for them to do that ever since they announced the Titans were coming back.
Yeah, I think I would sell a load of my 40k stuff because I loved Epic. I think it was awesome. Now, granted, you can technically still play it with you could use the Apocalypse rules, and then
I was going to say the Apocalypse rules is Epic, but for 28mm.
Yeah, 28mm.
We had this conversation. We did a demo game for a local modelling exhibition back in February. And decided to use the Apocalypse rule set, and I said it's just like going back to playing Epic. because I used to play Tyranids back in the day when it was the Hive War expansion,
Yeah.
and the whole thing with the blast markers and everything else was just like huge echoes back for me.
Yeah.
And but then the bit we're expecting internally a new version of Apocalypse this summer, because they stopped updating for all the newer units about a year and a bit on that. So I'm wondering if what they might do is maybe do a paired launch of Apocalypse and Epic, maybe late summer or in time for Christmas.
Oh, that would be awesome, man. Like, thing is, I've got a friend, and all he says, man, I've talked to the guys who did Titanic, because they said they're never going to do Epic. I said, yeah, but they said they're never going to bring Squats back, and here we've got Squats back again and stuff. They're going to do it. It makes no sense why they wouldn't bring, and Battlefleet Gothic. It makes no sense why you wouldn't bring those games back. It just.
But also, if you look at the Facebook groups for them, there's this huge scene still in people that play Epic still, with Net Epic and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And there's several small companies who have brought themselves up to a fairly reasonable level by doing not Epic miniatures.
Yeah. It's named something else, but they're pretty much the same thing and stuff. I'd be tempted to buy some.
I just want them to bring back Dark Future.
Oh yeah.
That could be a bit more of a reach.
It's a great game.
Yeah.
I know, but they're very wedded to the Warhammer properties, aren't they?
Yeah.
And Dark Future was more a Steve Livingston thing.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't own the copyright to it anymore.
John's completely lost at this moment in time. He's kind of going,
do you know what, though? I just think this is probably what you were like when me and Mark were talking about.
Oh,
Doctor
yeah,
Who.
Completely.
It's like I'm out of it. My brain is gone.
Yeah, I was just like, I have no idea what you're talking about. It was like when Pete has the sort of kind of Vampire the Masquerade sort of RPGs, and I haven't got a clue what's going on, so I'm sitting there kind of trying to think of questions, but going, I have no idea what any of this is.
Do you know what? The only other way I could compare it is if I ever said to my girlfriend anything about anything that I actually like, just straight away, like just tunes off. Like it's just there, like staring. And then like the occasion, I think like as it pre-programmed every like 15 seconds just to go, yep. It's like, but no, but you know what though? I find it with some things, even like, obviously non-geeky stuff. I've got friends that, talk all about their cars, and I just go, yeah. Okay.
That's nice for you.
I've just had 22-inch alloy rims put on.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. I've got 400 brake horsepower.
Nerd.
I don't really understand what that does, but okay.
This is the thing that gets me, right? Because I used to work for a company. I'll name nameless, but they used to mock me so much for being a nerd, like all the time. It's perpetually just sort of going on to me. But what used to sort of kind of amuse me is like all of them would sit there and play fantasy football, and they would literally sit there and like their whole lives would be about picking team members and sort of kind of buying and selling stuff, and they would have massive conversations about the stats of these guys and things like that. They send emails back and forth, and I was like, who's the fucking nerd here? It's like, and I said to them one day, and they say, what are you up to today? I was like, oh, I'm playing some fantasy football tonight, and they're like, really? You're playing fantasy? Yeah. We've got some orcs and there's some humans and stuff, but it's fantasy and it's football. It's just it's called Blood Bowl and stuff. Oh, it's not the same. It's the same. It's the same. Just mine seems a bit more fun because I can beat the shit out of the characters and stuff like that. Whereas you're just getting, you might get they do this thing where you get a bit of money. So I was just like, it's all the same thing. Doesn't matter what you are. If you're into cars, you're into football and stuff, you're really into it, you're a freaking nerd. So just accept it.
Well, as being acceptable to everyone riot in a bar and get drunk watching football, but having a passionate conversation in the corner of that same pub about comics or war games or something.
It was Neil Stevenson who said that we're all geeks now, and he's absolutely correct.
We are. I think if you've got an obsession over something and you're really, really into, that's what being a geek is. And I think people just don't like that stigma. And it's just like, look, if you're into anything, it could be anything. And if you're really into it, it's the same principle. It's the same thing. You might be more acceptable, but it's just like, that's it.
It's just a bigger version of the joke at cons about the Star Wars fans and the Star Trek fans
Yeah.
and the Doctor Who fans,
Yeah.
all in their own little corners taking the mickey out of each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the Andromeda fans in the corner while everyone shoots at them.
Actually, Matt, one thing I wanted to mention to you, I finally sat down with Curly and watched all of the Lord of the Ring films. The extended edition.
Oh, good lads.
And
good
I
lads.
found, actually, we watched them at the cinema when they're first released, but we finally actually just watched the extended edition versions. And I found that, like, break it up into chunks. Like, watching like an hour a night over a fortnight made it a much more enjoyable experience. And the ending at the end of Return of the King was much more tolerable because I hadn't been sat there for 2 hours. Is it finished? No. Is it finished? No. It's finished.
Are we
No,
there
it
yet?
wasn't.
Are we there yet?
I still
Exactly.
remember that one so vividly.
But when you kind of watched it for an hour a night, it makes more sense. So, yeah, I will kind of concede to you, Matt, that, yeah, it actually is not too bad, the Return of the King.
Do you know what, mate?
Although I will say this, that when Aragorn and the rest of the army of Gondor and Rohan face off against the Black Gate,
Yeah.
and he rather dishonorably beheaded the mouth of Sauron.
Oh yeah.
He kind of
parlay.
by the time he just kind of cut off his head, like,
Yeah.
that's not a very nice thing he just did. But they Aragorn gives this epic speech and then rides off towards the army, the orcs and the Uruk-hai. I was wondering, at no point does he say charge.
Yeah, we're funny. Everybody's like, did he give the order? And we meant to just do it. We're meant to be.
Standing
Yeah,
up.
and
And he's
they're
like,
right.
"I was
It's just like
charging up."
as a sort of a
We missed a bit.
disciplined army that he has to follow orders. You'd sort of
Yeah.
kind of hope that they just sort of just go, okay, so we've got to wait for orders, right? And then he's just like
Exactly.
running off on his own.
But then again, that same rule kind of applies to Avengers Endgame when you have Captain America goes, Avengers! And he just says very quietly, assemble. I reckon there's people in the background going, what did he say?
Yeah.
What? That's why you had to have
Like,
Thor and
also
you had to
don't
have
forget,
Black Panther roaring.
Hawkeye has got hearing problems.
What?
Hawkeye has like hearing problems. So you go,
Yeah.
what?
What?
I
Shit, that way.
What did he say? Talking about Lord of the Rings, my friends have. I'm so glad now that these are sold out. But the Folio Society, have released these really expensive limited edition Lord of the Rings signed by Alan Lee and stuff. And I got bombarded by my friends sending me links to these bloody books. And it's like, they're £1,000. They're beautiful. They're really beautiful. But it was just like, man, you should totally have these. This is such a good idea. And, Matt in 2006 would have totally put this on his credit card. And I was getting so broken down to the point where I was just like, right, I'm going to buy the fucking things. And then they sold out. And I was like, thank God. Thank God they sold out. And I was just like, oh my God. But I was literally had like a group of them just sort of on me. And then another friend was sending me links, and I think you sent me a link as well. And I was just like, everybody's sort of like sending me links, and I was just like, I'm going to be homeless. I said to my friend, I said, tell you what's going to happen is, right, when I'm destitute and I've got nothing and I've just got these fancy books, I'm bringing it all to your house and I'm sleeping in. I'm not selling them. I'm just going to bring my stuff and I'm going to sleep in your couch, and that's it. And this is going to be it. This is going to be it. And you're going to have to live with that because you encouraged this. It's just, they are beautiful, like beautiful. But
also, just on a very separate note, if we ever have to do like a tier rank or anything, can our top tier ranking be Folio Society?
Folio Society.
I think that sounds brilliant.
No, Society-O.
It's for Sadio.
Sorry.
Fasadio, yeah. And on that, we were basically having a discussion pre-podcast for everybody who's sort of listening and watching currently. There's a few of you now. We're sort of debating the sort of kind of Patreon thing to help sort of pay for the podcast. We're getting a few more sort of people watching it and listening to it and stuff, we thought we'd sort of kind of throw in some tiers and stuff. So we're debating what we're going to have. Obviously, shout outs and extra content, and maybe a sort of a discounted merch section for the website and things. So if anybody's got any ideas what we should do with it, how we would go about it, obviously, there's Discord channels and things like that. What you would want, then drop us a line, content@geek-pride.co.uk, or send us a message on Facebook.
Tell us what you would like us to talk about.
Yeah.
What would you be willing? Would you be willing for Matt to strip off?
Yeah.
Right.
I can get in a jacuzzi.
I thinking that as well?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we were thinking, obviously, because we get a lot of guests. We get a lot of guests.
So, the nightclub tour around the UK.
Yeah. So we're thinking, we do the guest ones live, and that would be the free one, and then we would do these sort of kind of bantery ones sort of for patrons, or if every now and again we missed a week, we could put one out quite regularly and stuff. But if you've got any ideas, if there's anything you think would be worth putting on to a Patreon, because I've got a few friends who do it and they do quite well. Shout out to the Decoding the Gurus, who sort of do a lot of quite good podcasts. They've got a lot of guests and very deep sort of stuff. But they've got thousands of Patreons and stuff, and they not that we're ever maybe going to get that, but that would be nice. But give us some ideas. Let us know what you think we should do, how we should break it down, how many tiers we should have. There's lots of things that could tie in with our Dungeons and Dragons streams as well. Whatever. Let us know. We are in your hands.
Tell us what you would like us to do.
Yeah, let us
legally.
Know. So we got guests, we got normal banter stuff. We've got this little sort of pop quiz type thing we're doing now, which I think is quite good. Shout outs for people, maybe priority questions for those who sort of are patrons for guests and stuff. Obviously, like I said, discount in the store, and obviously your name and lights and the website and stuff. Yeah, so let us know.
Or ask questions to the people who are at Geek Pride. My question would be, what kind of shampoo does Pete use? Because, his hair always looks really good on camera.
I actually have a very rigorous haircare routine. And for the appropriate patrons, I will reveal that to you all.
Do you know what, man? I used to...
Mark will show you his cat.
When I had my long hair and stuff, I used to take good care of it. Did you ever have long hair, Mark, by the way?
No.
They're kidding. Right, so moving on. Has everybody seen Moon Knight? Is everybody watching Moon Knight?
Oh, yes.
I am. It's a bit hit and miss.
I like it.
The first episode was great. The first episode was really good. Yeah.
I'm preferring it to a lot of the, as much as the other ones have been really good, I find myself a bit more engaged with it because I don't know a lot about Moon Knight, and it's made me sort of kind of go out and start reading a bit more about him and stuff, and I think I'm enjoying it. I think it's really good, and I think sort of, there's lots of little things like that last episode. There was lots of little sort of kind of Easter eggs and stuff, which I picked up on none of them. The Nerdist did a breakdown of them all, and I was just like, oh my god, that's so fucking obvious, and I didn't sort of pick up on any of them.
I really like
one of the things.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, God.
I really like the first. I'm just going to speak up, Sorry. I really like the first episode when you had the god commenting on what Stephen was doing. Like, oh no, the Morris in charge. Mark, take over. That was really, really good. But it seems to have lost a kind of despairing mockery.
I think they did a good job with not this week's episode, but last week's episode, where they kept blinking backwards and forwards.
Yeah,
that worked quite well as well, because that disjointed.
I liked it from when you're just watching it from Stephen's perspective. 1 minute he was in control, and then it jumped like a few minutes in the future, suddenly he's surrounded by bodies, or he's driving backwards in their car and going, what's going on? And like you got the God going, oh no, the boss in charge, Mark, take over again. That was really
he's
well
driving
done.
the truck. And he's like, oh, gun!
Yeah, Alistair Wilson on Facebook, Mr. Wilson, welcome, sir, says, got to agree with Pete, it's not gripping me at the minute. Think I'll like it when I binge watch it again. I'm not really keen on this week by week sort of thing. And I've done the Halo, Halo I have not watched at all yet, because I'm going to wait till it's finished and then just binge watch it all, so I can't sort of judge it. But yeah,
in Halo, though, I have the advantage. I've not played any of the games.
Yeah,
because obviously I wasn't a console person.
Yeah,
but
well, I've heard it doesn't have a lot in relation to the games and stuff like that. Hence why I'm sort of kind of wait for it all to come out, and then I'll just sort of do it. But yeah, Moon Knight, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's really good. I think people were sort of mocking. Oh God, what's the actor's name? Oscar Isaac's English accent. I think it's pretty good. I think it grows on you after a little while.
I think
it's telling it's not a natural accent.
Yeah, but it's like I think it's sort of
he chose an accent. Sorry.
No, he's got a lot. He's got a lot of the sort of kind of mannerisms you would get. I think it's sort of like you would get sort of the things they would say, and I think I didn't kind of go, oh, that's an American putting an English accent on, because it's quite colloquial. Well, that word.
Colloquial.
Yeah, colloquial. Yeah.
I think it's more that he chose an accent which a lot of people find irritating, even on this side of the pond, and so people are mocking it as much because he chose that accent, which fitted really well with the kind of person Stephen is.
Yeah.
He's not very. Whereas Mark's quite confident and, assured. Stephen's a lot less confident in himself. He's a lot more socially awkward and timid. Yeah. So that works.
Right. I was just going to say, everyone has watched up to episode 4, haven't they?
Yeah.
So
anybody, by the way, anybody who hasn't watched the recent Moon Knight, turn off now for now, and then.
Obviously, you do. What you do see is at the end of episode 4, all sort of goes a little bit mental, and Mark and Stephen are actually able to see each other face to face for the first time. And you may notice that Stephen was found in a sarcophagus, and there was another one. Why is there another one?
That has been that a third personality has been alluded to throughout the entire series. I mean, at one point there's there's a dead body, and Stephen turns back. Did you do
Neither
that?
Of them, no.
And you don't know. So it is the third personality, which
Jake Lockley.
Thank you. Yes, Jake Lockley, and that is something that is rooted in the comics.
Oh, so that's the new personality. Again, I don't know a lot about Moon Knight and stuff, so I'm not sort of. It's all new to me and stuff. Like I had to do a Wikipedia binge and stuff, to sort of kind of catch up with certain things, and YouTube videos, about no.
Yeah, Moon Knight is
interesting.
Moon Knight's an interesting character because he's basically the Marvel version of Batman, but with mental health with significant mental problems.
But he seems to have powers though.
He does. Yeah, it's not a complete mirror. It is, but it's the general understanding is that it was inspired by, but they kind of brought in all the kind of Egyptian elements, which work really well actually, and especially in the series, they kind of do handle it fairly respectfully. And Kanushin. That was
especially with that last shot from the end of the most recent episode.
With the hippo.
Yeah. Hi.
Is that the fertility god or something? I can't remember.
Yes.
What. Yeah.
Fertility and something else. I can't remember what it was. But yeah.
Well, there's loads of it. Like the copper who arrested him, who arrested Stephen, was in his dreams. Well, it's not a dream sequence. I'm not sure if that's meant to be purgatory or because he gets written. He's killed and brought back to life numerous times. And
yeah.
So
there is a lot of characters in that bit from the series so far.
Yeah. And I didn't realize. I completely was just completely blind.
Really?
And I didn't. I don't know why. I didn't.
Did you even recognize the bingo caller?
No,
No.
yeah, the statue guy and stuff, yeah, and it's just sort of like
That doesn't talk at all, and then suddenly he won't shut up.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
I didn't get the. I didn't understand the importance of the human statue, the gold human statue.
I think it's just. I think it's more the case that it's the only person that listens to him.
Right.
because he has to.
Because he doesn't talk, yeah. But everybody else just kind of runs over the top of him to some extent. People happen to Stephen. And the only person that ever actually doesn't interrupt or walk away from him is the person who can't, because...
Okay.
And you'll find out he's the big bad at the end of episode 5.
But one thing I thought was interesting was at the start of episode 4, when they're putting away Khonshu's statue, and they pull back to all of those niches with all the different statues in. I thought that was an interesting one. And I'm wondering if they're going to do anything about that, because obviously we only really know of and deal with Amet and Khonshu to a greater extent in terms of the punishment side of things. But you pull back and there's at least another 10 statues there.
The question that also does bring up is, given we have this entire Egyptian pantheon of fairly powerful beings and their avatars, how does that tie into the kind of greater Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Now, I was thinking about this because if you think of how they portrayed Norse mythology in particular, and in Thor: Love and Thunder, they're actually going to introduce Zeus. So
Greek,
they're going to go into Greek mythology. I think it's going to be something other dimension side thing. So it's going to be that originally, in their own dimension, the Egyptian gods were considered, normal. But then coming over to this dimension, they are given otherworldly effects and powers. And, we've not just seen that in, just this. Everyone's seen Spider-Man, haven't they?
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man film. That's all right. Because they even kind of mentioned it with Jamie Foxx's Electro. He comes into this dimension, and because it's like a different energy, it treats his body differently. So he's no longer blue and with a like dubstep voice. He's now, back to almost like his own self, but he's able to fix his hair. He's able to look more human. And now his electricity is coming out yellow instead of blue. So I reckon it's got to be something like that. Going between multiverse, maybe that's what makes the gods as they are.
That makes sense.
Then I saw another interesting idea that someone pointed out, is that I can't remember the specifics. It was one of those things that I read a couple of days back. And they were saying that if you look at some of the other references that have been made, there is, this idea that there are other gods locked away. There was one of the Egyptian mythological creatures or beings that apparently at one point tried to do what Thanos did, but back in prehistory. And he was, instead of the Infinity Stones, he was trying to assemble 4 artifacts that were called the 4 Corners of Creation. And one of those artifacts was the Darkhold.
Which was in end of WandaVision.
Yes, exactly, which is part of WandaVision. And apparently one of those items was a sword that could only be wielded by the pure of heart, which is what defeated him because because of his intentions. And so there's some thoughts that maybe, having moved on from the Infinity Stones now, and with the Darkhold being part of the mythology through that they might end up trying to bring that together again, with Zeus coming in, with the existing Norse gods and stuff like that, and also with the Eternals as well, and that side of things, is that they're leaning more into, with Phase 5 and Phase 6, they may lean more into the mythology and the powerful beings and stuff. And in that case, with the rumours, there have been ongoing rumours they might do Captain Britain, which would sync in with them having teased the Black Knight, and we may see the Pendragon side of things as well.
That'd be interesting. I think Captain Britain would be quite good, as long as he doesn't have any flying teapots and stuff like that.
Again,
I think
they don't bring back the X-Men as well, so that could all tie in with Kitty Pryde and so on.
Yeah, I think what they've got to do now is, because now you've got this whole thing with the multiverse, you've got to have something that invests you in the universe that you've stuck with now for the last 14 years. So having these otherworldly items, such as the Darkhold, the Ebony Blade, all these other things that are going to potentially be coming up. You've now got to have something that's now going to tie that in, and then not just for Phase 4 for whatever we still got of that, but going forward, because I'm sure Secret Wars has still got to be the next big one to come up, especially if you've got Kang the Conqueror. That's got to be the way that you are going to conclude it, the be all that ends all. And then where do you go from there? But we ain't got to worry about that for probably another 10 years.
Armor Wars. That's what I'm waiting for.
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one to watch because I have good memories of that side of things anyway. And they're having already done Demon in a Bottle. But there's a lot of things in there to be looking forward to. And some of the rumors about some of the potential guest stars for Multiverse of Madness as well.
Looking forward to seeing that.
Do you know what? It's I think now for how many people that they've been teasing or how many leaks and rumors, I don't think anyone's going to be happy with that film. They go, oh, they get enough so-and-so in it. They probably had 100 other characters.
I'm thinking it'll be interesting to see how well they handle the multiverse concept, given that they have, in theory, a lot of things they can nod to that have almost happened or have already happened, that they could effectively give a nod to and a laugh for the fanboys, while also giving some meat to people on the options they have for things like recasting. For obviously with all those big deals that have now expired out.
Yeah, I mean, my understanding is from the end of Loki, you find out that He Who Remains was basically trying to stop the multiverse from becoming a thing, and now that the multiverse is out there, my feeling is that the Illuminati are sort of there to try and keep control of the multiverse. Because obviously we have the Watcher, we have Uatu, but he doesn't actually interfere apart from that one time when he interfered. But this is it. The Illuminati are there to obviously they're probably in their own mind try and fix this problem. And where does it stem? Well, it stems from a few different things. Lady Loki, did it, or Wanda did it, or Doctor Strange did it because he tried to help her. He tried to help Spider-Man.
Do you
everything's an urgent system thing, isn't it?
I had her name and I've completely forgotten about it. Jane
Foster.
Jane Foster. Do you think she's a variant?
No, I don't think so. I think what they're doing is that I don't think Thor: Love and Thunder is going to play into the multiverse side of things. I think this is going to. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be anything like that. I think this is going to be still continuing what we've had from the previous 4 movies, but this is going to be Jane Foster that we've known from the very beginning. And anyone who's read the Mighty Thor comics, this storyline is probably one of the best ones that they've ever done for Thor. And
she has cancer or something, doesn't she? Has cancer, and it's like every time she takes Mjolnir, it sort of takes out all the
intensifies.
So she becomes more. She's gonna. The thing is,
everything that's
purges.
her,
the problem is, obviously, she's using the hammer that was destroyed by Hera. So it's just like, how has she got that and stuff?
Well, it's just been left in Norway, hasn't it?
It wasn't destroyed, I think. Well, she shattered it, but I think it came back.
No,
but it was back.
Thor took the one from the past.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, but
in Avengers Endgame, it still had the hammer.
Yeah.
No, that was from the past.
Took the hammer back.
Yeah, and he had to bring it back.
Captain America took the hammer back to the past.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is the Mjolnir that was destroyed by Hela.
But then we could find out it's been reforged or something, or it could be
because you see it's all cracked. You see in the trailer it's all cracked. So it has been put back together. The original
reforged.
Yeah, but actually no. Do you know what? Peter Dinklage did apparently slip that he may be in the film. So he is known for
reforged.
Forging. Or did Jane just try and put it together herself because she's had 5 years of doing nothing and thought, oh, get the super glue out,
What's that Japanese sort of art where they sort of kind of stick broken things together?
Using gold. Using gold
and stuff.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
I did just have one other thought though. Obviously, with Mjolnir, when Mjolnir is obviously one whole piece, only they who is worthy can lift Mjolnir. So does that mean that with all the fragments on the ground, no one can pick up the fragments?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah. Kintsugi.
I'd like to see that.
Kintsugi,
I'd like to
yeah.
see like someone's trying to pick it up and they're like, "Oh, it's not moving."
At the end of the day, it's, you know, there's also the thing that the funny thing about Mjolnir is that we've seen that Mjolnir, in theory, does this whole thing about if you're not worthy, you'll wield the powers of Thor, but also that Thor's powers are intrinsic to him.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting balance out that that Taika's going to have to try and deal with.
So is he?
He'll just wing it.
Is he meant to? So he's with the Guardians of the Galaxy at this moment in time. Is he going to? Because they've got a new film coming out as well, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the final film as well.
I think the original plan was if Guardians of the Galaxy was made before Thor: Love and Thunder, I think it was going to be the first part of Guardians 3 was going to have Thor, and then he would have gone off onto his own mission. But where obviously they changed the scheduling, it's then decided that Thor will be with them at first, and then he then goes on to his adventure. And that is because Thor finds out about Gore the God Butcher, knowing that, you know, this guy is going to go on a rampage. So he returns to rally the Revengers, you know, his team. He has to bring them back for this big fight. And then that's when he finds out that Jane has also got the powers of Thor.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Going to be interesting.
Always.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to get bored.
That was quite nice seeing that trailer on Monday.
Yeah, I'm just sort of. I haven't seen it yet, by the way. Just because we're obviously talking about heavily Marvel orientated. But has anybody seen the new Batman?
Yes.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
How like I don't obviously no spoil. I've not seen it. I've got it sort of like to watch and stuff. Is it sort of? Is it worth it?
I think so.
I would say it's probably. I can't compare it to The Dark Knight and say that it's better than that, but I would say personally, I enjoyed this Batman film more than I think I've enjoyed any other Batman movie, just because this reminds me of the books that I would have read. Like, you know, you've got this noir style. It's very dark. It's very, you know, it's very like people say it's dragged out, but I think it's just this is the pacing for a Batman film. This is how you tell the tale of a guy who, you know, he's doing things his own way. He's putting things together in his own way. You see it in the suit as well. The suit is literally patched together with all different bits and pieces. His car, the Batcave, just everything he has is very imperfect. It's very dirty, and it's very like, you know, just held together by God knows what. Because
See, that's
he's
where
doing things his own way, and I like it.
Yeah, see, that's where DC, I think, went wrong. They tried to copy Marvel when they saw their success and went a bit too comic, whereas they've always been good at that sort of kind of gritty, dark sort of thing. And, you know, you saw that with Joker. You saw that with Joker.
But then
which was
Shazam, that is a really good DC film.
And the Suicide Squad, not 2016 Suicide Squad, the latest Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
Still not saying the new one. To be fair,
new one is. I like the original. I didn't think. I think I got too much hate for it. I enjoyed it. I didn't hate it. The new one is really good. And I haven't seen Peacemaker yet. Again, it's
So good.
it was quite good. What I've seen of it.
But yeah,
I think.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think that the advantage with the Batman is that they haven't tried to make it part of something bigger, which is the problem they had with the Justice League films, for example, was that there was the ones that were based around that were always building towards big films, and they didn't balance out as well as maybe the original MCU ones did. But also the advantage, as you said, I mean, I went and watched it with Sarah, who's totally not a comics fan or anything like that, and she was like, that could have been done in like 2 hours. I said, well, not really, because if you'd done it in 2 hours, there's an awful lot of details that would have had to either be pulled out, which would have made it less satisfying, but also there are places where it benefited from it dragging a little bit, because the dragging parts are kind of showing the same frustration he has, that he wants, you know, he's still quite young and impulsive in some ways, and he wants to get somewhere that he can't because everything else is around him.
Not obviously revealing any spoilers or anything. And Mark, obviously, as you've seen it, that first 5 minutes of the film, Joe, what? I don't think there's ever been a truer opening to a Batman movie than that. Just the fear element in particular as well.
Yeah,
it's just so well played in them few minutes. And just when you finally have Batman on screen, you know, it's not overly flashy. It's not like, you know, tons of CGI thrown in. It's something so simple, so easy, but it's so effective. And when you see that on the screen, it's just brilliant.
The thing is that we've got used to very well executed, very shiny, slick fight scenes, and obviously the obvious you know, in the Batman context is the Christian Bale films, where it's very kinetic, very high energy, frenetic. The one in this, though, because you have this whole idea of his stuff is still in progress, the fight scenes are very well done. They're very well textured, and you can feel them. But also, he doesn't just walk away from fights. He staggers. He hurts. There's several, you know, there's several different scales that illustrate that very well. That there are consequences.
You just feel like he's human. Yeah.
And that's the thing that so many times people have missed, is that because so much of DC has been to try to put him on this pedestal along with Superman and so on and so on, they've lost track of him being a person, and he's become a rich guy with lots of gadgets that shields him from it. And you don't get that same impact in sympathy there that you do in this one, because
it reminds me of John Wick in that regards, because where he becomes progressively
so good.
So good.
But that's the thing, is that part of what makes a character like Wick or or Patterson's Batman work is it's about will as much as anything else. They don't give up, and it's that as a human, you know, the reason that feels so weird is that humans are pursuit hunters, aren't they? They're patient about it. The whole idea is that we got to where we are because we figured out that if you scare the crap out of something that's bigger than you and you can't hurt, and you just hurt it enough to keep running, sooner or later that will drop, and then you've got free reign. And with these guys, yes, they're very well trained. Yes, they have, in the case of Batman, as much as John Wick, they have access to all these really cool tools. But the main thing that makes them so scary is the fact that you know full well that all you have to do is slip once. And even if they've slipped 5 times, they're going to keep coming. If they're dragging a broken ankle, if you've hit them with a solid shotgun at like 3 foot and they've got a chest plate that's just turned their entire chest cavity blue and purple, they're still going to turn up and smack you until you lay on the ground and kick you a few more times to make the point.
But it's still from that first trailer when you see, like, you know, when they have the fight at the train station, then he literally just grabs the guy and he punches him, but then he just keeps punching over and over and over.
Yeah.
And it's like when you're in the cinema and you're hearing them punches reverberate around you, just like, holy shit, you know, that is powerful, you know. And even though we've seen Batman that's been, you know, a bit gritty like that, someone that's been, you know, not afraid to show a raw strength, this is a Batman that just goes, look, if I don't do this, I'm going to probably die, basically, you know. And it's like he has to use his fear. He has to use this idea of,
because the whole point of that was to make people scared.
Yeah.
You have to make that it's the shock and awe thing, isn't it? With the kid,
and it doesn't. I mean, you know, in some way, and it kind of made me laugh as well that the guy he does punch the face in looks so much like Nostalgia Critic as well, and he's just literally pounding him over and over. It's like,
cool. I'm looking forward to it. I've just haven't had time, so I'm looking forward to that and stuff. So yeah.
But it's a 3-hour film as well, so you've got to be comfortable to sit through that movie. Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that long. Okay, right.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Yeah.
One thing I only found out recently, which was really strange, but I didn't realize that Patterson was English. I always thought he was American for some reason. I don't know why. Just like, yeah, and then he.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I didn't know. I was
You're
just
as
like,
bad as
yeah.
all those
I
Americans
always
that
when I
think
watched
that-
Tenet, I think, oh, he's got a good English accent. I thought he was putting it
You're as
on.
bad as those Americans
then
that
that's
think
what-
that Hugh Laurie can't possibly be British.
Yeah. Here's
Then
another
that's what
thing.
people think
I didn't.
about Christian Bale as well.
Yeah, I didn't know. Here's another thing that I only sort of kind of realized is that House is Sherlock Holmes. Is Holmes?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's House Holmes. The whole thing. He's basically a Dr. Sherlock Holmes. And when somebody sort of explained that to me, I was like, my mind's fucking blown now. And it's just like boom. It's like it all ties in really well and stuff. And it's just like, wow, yeah, it is. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. It's been going on. Well, could go on for ages, but I've got some stuff to do, so I need to go. But it's been a good evening. We've had a fair few people watching, which is good. Cheers for the comments, Mr. Wilson, much appreciated. Again, everybody who's watching at the minute, and if you're listening to this later on, let us know what we can do Patreon wise and stuff. If you actually subscribe to any Patreons yourself and stuff, what are you looking for? What do you need? What can we do?
What can we give you?
Yeah.
What will you pay us for?
Yeah, what you do?
Within reason.
And it's not going to be. It'll be like a quid every month or a couple of quid and stuff like that. It's not going to be anything. It's just sort of like, but helps with the costs of keeping the podcast going and stuff, which would be nice.
Is there stuff we have done in passing that you'd like to see more of?
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, like, so this is my thought. So when we've been talking away here, and there's been a fair few people watching and stuff, which is good. And it's just like, but we were thinking, well, we'll have these nattering ones as a Patreon one only. But then obviously, I think people like watching and then chipping in now and again with their opinions and stuff. So if we do that, are we taking that away from them? Are we only going to put the guest ones? The thing about the guests one is, as much as they're very interesting, it's very niche to that sort of thing. So that, whereas when we're talking here, we talk about everything.
A lot more broad, isn't it?
We're very broad. Whereas, when we've got somebody in talking about an RPG or a specific book or something like that, it's very specific to those people and stuff. So it's like we need to sort of think about.
We do usually drag them out into general geekery somewhere along the line.
Yeah, of course we do.
Or that time with Lauren Moore, all we just talked about was wrestling.
Yeah.
We actually talked about writing.
Yeah, that's true.
So we are quite diverse in our subject matters.
Yeah, so I think it's something to think about and stuff, because I wouldn't want to take people, because I do, I know a few people have said to me and stuff, they like just sort of listening when they're doing things in the background and stuff, and then chipping in with the thing. Also, we're debating sort of moving this to like a Monday night instead of a Sunday night. We're not sure if that's better, because Sunday night's a Sunday night and people are, we don't know.
Work in progress, right?
We're thinking about it, so we're not sure. We've always done it on Sunday, but it's just like, do we move it to a Monday? Are we going to get more people listening on a Monday, or I don't know.
I always found that, I think after, depending on your working week, I always found that after a Monday, like after that first day, you just think, right, I know the rest of the week is coming up, but I just need something to help me chill out, something to take my mind off everything. A good entertaining podcast, I'm sure, would be the way.
And I think it's more also that, just to make sure we get more bodies on, because it's generally me and Pete and stuff, and other people are doing other stuff. It'd be good to have you back on more often and stuff. I think we need to sort of kind of rework how we can get sort of more people on, because I think you get a lot more interesting. I'd like to get Mike back on now and again. Do you know what? I want to get Gearston back on at one point in time. I sort of just.
You want Mike on? You're missing that quality abuse, are you?
Yes. I want to have I want to have an old school one. I want to have an old school one, right? Where there was, back in the day when we first started the podcast, like Geek Pride was young, and we used to have like 10 of us. There was like 10 or 15 of us, just sort of all on there, and we had sections and stuff like that. I want to see how many people we can get onto a podcast. Just sort of just hammer it and see what chaos ensues. But yeah.
Well, if Orvis was involved, probably lots of it.
Yes. Get one of his jingles back on again. Okay, cool. That's been very enjoyable. I've enjoyed that. That's been very good. A good spectrum of nerdery there. So thanks very much, everybody, for watching. Again, thanks, Mr. Wilson, for the comments. Much appreciated, man. As always. Again, we'll let you know if content at geek-pride.co.uk. If you've got anything you want to email us and tell, advice or things that you want, what we'd need, if there's guests you'd like to see or anything like that, anything you think we should talk about, anything we could do for the Patreon, let us know, or hit us up on Facebook, Messenger and stuff. We'll get back to you. Other than that, we do have an early D&D game tomorrow. It is carrying on from Thursdays because it's a bit of a side quest, and I've got two of my unsuspecting victims. Now, technically, your character's with them, but I'm not sure if I want you to be there because I don't want you kind of going and sort of letting anything I want them to. I
have been warned, no spoilers.
Yeah,
yes.
I want them to know. Basically, because they haven't got a clue, and it's great. Yeah. And I just think it's a very good sort of storyline. And I think Wes was really getting into it. And
Dave has been good. He told me you said no spoilers.
Yeah.
And he hasn't tried to wheedle anything either.
Yeah, well, that's it. I think it's a good. I think it's a really good sort of kind of investigation type thing. So I thought it was a good idea because it was only them and my brother and stuff. So my brother was very good. He just sort of sat there and sort of kind of smiled and giggled now and again when things happened, and they were like, "Oh, it must be this," and he's like, So yes, we're having that. That's going to be tomorrow night, Monday. We may even have one, depending on how far they get and they don't get themselves killed. Then we'll have another one maybe on the Wednesday, and then it'll be back to normal for our D&D sort of sessions on the Thursday. But yes, thanks very much, everybody. For tonight, I've been Matt Geary. My co-hosts tonight have been Peter Ray Allison.
Good night, everyone.
Jon Jo Cosgrove.
Take care, people.
And Mark Canty.
Keep your Nitro 9 cold.
Night.
Good night.